Nathan, do you think you should be favourites this week?
Similar to what Dom said, players' favouritism doesn't come into our agenda throughout the week. What matters to us is the way we prepare for the week and obviously the way we perform on Sunday, so no, we'll wait and see.
Nathan, Sando said the jury's pretty much still out in the Crows. What are your thoughts?
Look, I think for us this year we've made some big inroads on last year, which we needed to do as a football club and playing list. So we've seen that improvement throughout the pre-season and our games to date. I've certainly been impressed with the way that the boys have been able to stand up when things haven't been going our way, which I dare say last year we would have we've fallen apart a bit and not been able to stem the momentum changes that have happened in games that we've had. So I think that's been a significant improvement from our group's point of view. But still, as Sando's probably pointed out, there's a lot still for us to work on. And from the weekend's game, particularly our tackling and our I suppose our pressure needs to be more consistent around the ball so that we can compete with the top sides when we come up against them.
So they're more resilient this year?
Yeah, I'd like to think so. And a year like last year will do that to a playing group, I would have thought. You know, a young list, we went through some really tough times last year and learned some valuable lessons, and they're going to hold us in good stead in the future. And I see it in the way that the guys have attacked training throughout the pre-season and throughout games. I mean, I only look on the weekend at the way Rory Sloan and Paddy Dangerfield and some other young guys throughout the year have stood up and said that they don't want to go through some of the, I suppose, the disappointment we went through last year.
Is that the key for you, Nathan, that you need to create an element of doubt in Port Adelaide's minds rather than give them the thought that they could win?
Oh, it's not about, for us, with all due respect to Port Adelaide, it's not about...
if you command the game...
Yeah, we want to play on our terms, and that's how we want to play every week, because we've noticed that when we play our best footy, when we get the results and we play the style of footy that our supporters expect of us, that the coaching staff and playing groups expect of each other, that it's played on our terms. And in the last couple of weeks, we've allowed Hawthorn to play the way they want to play by conceding 150 odd marks, I think it was, which is just makes it so difficult to defend. And on the weekend again, in the second quarter, we fell apart with GWS, conceding too many free marks to them as well. So there's still some areas we need to improve on in that regard. But when we play on our terms, it goes our way.
Sando's critical of your lack of tackling in the past two games. Is there going to be a big emphasis for the Showdown?
I think it will be this week. Obviously, if Sando said it, that's what will happen this week. So listening to Dom, that's what Port Adelaide are going to focus on this week. So it'll be a great contest on Sunday. Showdowns are always, close and contested. So it's going to be heat's going to be on around the footy, which will be great for both sides. And both need to improve on, by the sounds of our tackling. So on the weekend, I thought we still give ourselves opportunities to tackle. Gave away too many free kicks in that regard, and probably weren't getting close enough for our opponents to actually make the tackle count. So I dare say we'll do some work throughout this week to make sure that we can address it on the weekend.
Is that something you think of that model of having McKernan ruck with Jacobs and leave Tippett the goal front? Do you like that model more than Jacobs and Tippett going into ruck?
I love having Kurt up forward, and I think as a playing group we love when we can keep him up forward, because we see the impact that he does have. And I guess and have to look back to the Hawthorn game that his influence when we kicked it forward, he was able to compete and give us a real strong contest up there, and he does that around the footy as well when he comes up the ground. So yeah, we'd like two Kurt Tippetts to be able to ruck and also play down forward, but I guess it's up to the match committee week in, week out to see who the ruck opponents we are coming up against. If Kurt needs to give Sam a hand in the ruck, then we'll need to do that. But on the weekend, I thought it was comforting to know that we had Kurt, down the line or down the forward line, that he could compete with us every time, because we know he does that so well.
Still early in the week, obviously, but is there much difference in the emphasis on a showdown between Sando and what you used to have with him?
Oh, look, we actually haven't had got together as a group yet for the week. We'll do our reviews tomorrow, but look, showdowns are a big week, regardless of how they're built up internally. I mean, you only have to walk down the street as players, and you know that the public are really into the showdown, and it means a lot to them to win. So don't have to do too much internally, but I dare say Sando's looking forward to embracing it this week and really enjoying the build up, and that'll come out on Sunday with the way that we go about our footy.
So you'd expect him to sort of to embrace that and build it up, rather than sort of treat it as any other game that you just need to get the point.
Yep. Well, speaking to Sando today and listening to his comments on the weekend, he's excited. It's his first showdown as coach, and he really wants the SA supporters and our supporters to get behind us this weekend and come down and watch a fiercely contested game of footy, which we'll get on Sunday.
Is it more about winning or not losing?
it's about winning.
But do you have a fear of losing because of what it does in terms of the divide in the state?
Oh, no, I don't think as elite athletes you can't think about losing. If you go out there, you've got that negative thought process. It's about going out there and winning and thinking positively and doing your preparation throughout the week to make sure that you've ticked all the boxes.
Nathan asked Dom about Jacobs, obviously. Do you feel you get advantage through him in the ruck?
Yeah, look, Sam's been terrific for us this year to date, and he's going to keep developing for us into a great ruckman around the competition. And I guess we can still get better around the contest at getting greater benefit for his hits to advantage that he's been giving us. So I know on the weekend I don't think he had his best game for hit-outs around the contest, but I guess it's also his outside play as a ruckman. Certainly don't have any fear about getting the ball in his hands when he's out running free, as you do with some other bigger blokes. He's pretty handy to have around the ground, and his influence in the contest has been great for us so far.
You say you get better at reading his play around the contest. In what respect?
Just getting better reward for his hits to advantage. I guess we've seen that teams have come close to us in the clearance regard at times, but we've just got to make better reward for his hard work that he does to get to the hit spots where we want. We've just got to make sure that we win it.
Nathan, that tackling stuff that you're talking about needing to improve, is that something you can get better at week by week, or is it going to be a bit of a long process to get that in?
I think it's, we've seen us do it really well, so to me that says it can change pretty quickly for us. So it's not a matter of we've been poor at tackling throughout the whole of the season to date. We've certainly shown in patches and throughout full games in the pre-season where we've been able to tackle at a really high standard. So I guess in that regard we've shown our cards to Sando to say that's what we're capable of, and that's what he likes to see. So it's what he now expects, which is totally fair, and I dare say we'll work on it this week and make sure we get it back up to the level that's expected.
Who do you think's top of the list of blokes who deserve a call up from Sando?
There's been a lot of guys playing some good SANFL footy for us. So depending on what changes are made this week, obviously Bernie Vince has broken his hand this week, so Burn's going to have to get replaced. Chris Knights is in the SANFL playing some good footy for us. Jared Lyons has a couple of best on ground performances. So there's been a number of guys. We saw Sam Shaw come in on the weekend, and Brodie Martin and Matty Yench also come in after playing great footy and get reward for consistent footy in the SANFL. So we're in a pretty good position where we've got guys playing good footy that are itching for their opportunity this weekend.
How do you rate Jared Lyons? Is he ready, do you feel?
Jared showed us in the pre-season that he's come a long way, and I think his performances the last couple of weeks. I watched a bit of his vision, and I really like what I see.
He'd slot pretty comfortably into Bernie's role, you reckon?
Who's that?
Jared Lyons, would he slot into Bernie's role pretty well?
Big shoes to fill in Bernie's, I think. Bernie's been a great player for us, but whoever fills his spot this week will play their role for us, I'm sure.